It's my pleasure at this time to present to you Congressman Mark Souder.
And any feedback that you give us on some of the struggles or questions or how we can make these things more effective will be helpful too.
Representative Souder, before you leave today, I just had a quick question for you. I was wondering, you're here today talking about financial aid and access to education, but it's your law, Souder's law, that's the blocking aid for 42,000 students. And I'm just wondering how you can go in and talk to these people without bringing up the fact that you're putting a roadblock to education for about 42,000 students.
If you do drugs, you lose your loan.
Well, regardless of using drugs,
if you do drugs, you lose your loan. That's the administration position. That's what we're working through. Your organization opposed this law from the beginning.
Absolutely.
You kids are being used by drug advocates across this country.
I'm not being used, sir. This has come from my own personal belief, and the fact
I'm not going to talk with people who advocate drug use.
We do not advocate
your organization.
We advocate education. We advocate education. We advocate a fair, open debate, an honest debate, and we want to talk about the real issues.
You're being used by a drug use organization.
I'm not being used by any
Your organization opposes the law that says if you get a student loan and get convicted of a drug crime, you lose that student loan. Your organization advocates legalization of drugs. They fight this. They have fought this bill from the beginning.
Yes, we have, and I've actually been one of the founders of this organization, so I'm not being used by anyone. And the fact remains is that whether somebody's had hard times in the past, if they're trying to turn their lives around and get accepted into college and go to school, then they should have a right to do so, and their financial aid should be determined by their financial need, not some arbitrary, erroneous regulation that has nothing to do with why they should attend school or not. And don't people have a chance to make good on their lives? Shouldn't they get a chance to go to school and not be...
You know that's not what the law says.
Yes, I do. I've read the law very clearly.
You oppose the law.
You're blaming everybody but yourself. The Clinton administration, the Bush administration, the Department of Education. You're not blaming yourself for this bad law. And you want to make a bad law less worse.
They opposed the law from the beginning. The intent of Congress, President Bush, Secretary of Education Page, the drug czar, have all said that what they're claiming is that it has a reach-back provision. The intent of Congress is clear. Over 400 members of Congress voted for this bill. They understood what the bill said, and that was if you get convicted of a drug crime when you're on a loan, you lose a loan. The Clinton administration interpreted that with the reach-back provision. We passed an amendment 2 or 3 years ago that fixed this. It was blocked in the Senate. The administration is working to fix it. If they can't fix it, Congressman Meeks and I have a bill in that we're working on final legal language to make sure the administration this time agrees with the interpretation that does the reach-back. They do not oppose. We all agree on the reach-back.
No.
What we disagree on is the bill. This organization opposed the bill in the beginning. They're going to oppose it when it's fixed. This is not about a reach-back provision. The simple thing is, because I agree, no one who's ever committed a drug crime early in their life should be denied a loan. The law says if you are a student and you commit a drug crime, you lose your loan. It does not say if you're an applicant. It does not say if you were in high school. The Clinton administration interpreted it that way. We've passed an amendment to fix it.
You're misleading the people of Fort Wayne. You're misleading the people of Fort Wayne. You say that this law...
This group is an advocate of drug use in the United States. You say that this law was passed by 400 members of Congress. I have to go to another meeting. Your amendment was only voted on in a small subcommittee and only on voice vote among partisan lines. It was not. It was passed
by partisan lines.
No, five Democrats co-sponsoring it.
Five Democrats out of how many? This was in a small subcommittee. This was not something that was debated on the floor of the House.
This group has hounded me around the country.
Right, because you're not talking to us. You refuse to talk to us. We're not lying to anybody. We're telling the truth. We are telling the truth, and it's Representative Souder promoting his lies.
Because I chair the Committee on Narcotics, this group and others have dogged me around the country with false information. They want to take out anybody who is an advocate to try to stop the drug use. Students in America need to follow the laws.
Have students, does this reduce the amount of drug use on college campuses? When are you going to deal with real drug education, real drug treatment, things that really enable students to better themselves, rather than these knee-jerk regulations, these knee-jerk laws that do nothing but help your political career, sir?
Which is worse, rape or drug possession?
I said I will co-sponsor any amendments that they introduce on rape. I believe
but your
any
first
felony
instinct was to punish people for drug possession rather than for rape or murder.
Representative Souder does it again. He avoids the debate. He runs away. He won't talk about these issues in a real forum, in a real open forum that we could talk about things face to face. He makes us come out here. He makes us follow him around rather than him sitting down with us across the room, across the table, across the room, and being able to talk about these issues in a real, open, honest, professional way. And it's him who's forcing the debate on the street, not us.
What do you think of what he had to say, though?
It's the same stuff we're hearing from Representative Souder over and over again. Under Clinton, he was saying it wasn't being enforced harsh enough. Now he's saying it's being enforced too harsh. He's got to turn around and start blaming himself, especially for those students who are being denied aid, who he doesn't even think should be losing aid. And he's talking about a bill he's putting through in Congress. He never championed that other bill through the Senate. He never did anything to make sure it became law. He was just covering himself. And he can't cover himself any longer because this law is fundamentally flawed.